From 2020 to 2021, our restoration work has been focused on the West Branch Neversink. Today we'll be looking at the repairs to the closed pool stream restoration, the Frost Valley Horse Trail bank stabilization, our new tree nursery, plant materials center, an update on the soil experiment started in 2020, and finally a preview of the Ladleton stream restoration. Our year began on a low note with high flows after the Christmas storm severely damaged the soil lifts at Closed Pool. Deep snowpack had us waiting until spring to assess the extent of the damage. In May, once flows allowed, Lefevre's crew returned to the site and established a timber deck bridge and dismantled the remains. The lifts were rebuilt using wider core matting we had sourced over winter, which allowed them to be rolled out along the stream rather than shingled, creating fewer seams. The top lifts were set higher with an increased back slope. Large riprap was installed at the top end and infilled with our reused core prior to being topsoiled with a pneumatic blower truck. Local angler and river historian Ed Ostapchuk has been fishing the upper Neversink for over 50 years. On October 1st, he caught his personal best, this 22-inch brown trout at the head of the closed pool. 3.5 miles upstream, the December storm continued ongoing erosion of a high alluvial bank, cutting off access of Frost Valley's horse trail between the barn and paddock. This area has seen repeated attempts to regain historic meanders, always quickly followed by channelization. After shifting over 100 feet since Irene, further migration would threaten passage through Frost Valley Road, putting campers at risk. We worked with Stantec to quickly develop a plan that would stabilize the bank only where required to protect infrastructure and allow the stream room to naturally establish dynamic equilibrium over the long term. Baker Brothers won the construction and did an outstanding job on the project, which featured joint planted riprap and root wads with riprap and soil lifts. Upstream of the bid work, our in-house team installed a single lift of soil and core to connect the stable sedge toe to the herbaceously vegetated floodplain. Sedge and willows were removed from the inside of the mobile bankful channel bed and transplanted into the new banks. We've been interested in shifting to bare root plant material to increase density closer to what we see in natural succession and allow for easier, faster transplanting through our core mat protected floodplain soils. After positive trial results with the air prune method on my home farm in 2020, we decided to establish our own bare root nursery. We spent the summer collecting seeds with help from our new seasonal employee Brandon of Ulster Botany and made a visit to the Intervale Conservation Nursery in Vermont. Frost Valley accepted our proposal and offered a free unlimited lease on their land. We hired a contractor to install road access and parking and to mix and install a custom stone-free soil blend that will allow us to dig bare root in our notoriously rocky watershed. We installed a fence of local cedar posts and built over 70 air pruning germination boxes. We can now dig our locally adapted trees in the morning and install on a project site later the same day, with one planter able to cross the river with 50 plants in one hand and a shovel in the other. Heading back downstream, as part of our closed pool stockpile site restoration, we installed the soil box experiment in September 2020 to evaluate 6 different soil types on their ability to support the growth of 11 of our most common riparian trees and shrubs. 2 of these are the same blend, with one having received soil test advised mineral amendments and 2 applications of compost tea. Although this experiment was designed to evaluate long-term woody plant growth, in the first season we've observed major differences in herbaceous growth, giving us immediate feedback that informed and improved our soil blends in time for our projects this season. Finally, our Ladleton Stream Restoration Water Quality Protection Project. Historically, realignment and berming had been done to protect a former bridge which was damaged and then destroyed by floods in 1980 and 81. Since Irene, the site has been experiencing rapid bank loss with over 100 feet of migration on the upper bend and over 40 in the lower. There are currently 2 major sources of turbidity, a hill slope failure on the upper end and a 210-foot long clay exposure at the downstream. The clay layer is capped by 8 to 10 feet of alluvium and shows no potential for self-arrest or stabilization. We plan to install a root wad stone soil lift revetment as seen in the Horse Trail project. The upstream hill slope receives concentrated drainage from 3 road culverts which create a perched water table above a shallow clay layer under the terrace soil. Rilling, initiated during Irene, opened cuts on these hill slopes which have rapidly accelerated from entrainment, soil creep, debris flow, and tree fall. We plan to address this by removing 3 small culvert pipes, shown in green, and rerouting drainage through a new ditch system north of the road to the tributary on the west. We'll then upgrade the undersized box culvert with an open bottom structure capable of passing a 50-year discharge. And finally, a look at the overall project design. Thank you for this opportunity to share our projects and for all the work that you do for our Catskill streams.